He was just fantastic tonight. The only run he gave up was on a sacrifice fly in the second inning, and that was it for Yu Darvish. So you really look at it, the Padres knocked out all three keys to the game from what we discussed pregame. You talk about runners in scoring position in this game. Again, the Padres had 6 home runs. They were 2 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Jackson Merrill had an RBI single in this game to make it 4-1. And then again, you just love the way they put it away with the late runs as this game went along. And again, with the offense, with the pitching, just a terrific job by Yu Darvish. And then you want to mention the bullpen as well. Tanner Scott and Alec Jacob did a nice job. Scott, a scoreless 8th inning. Jacob gave up a solo home run to Max Muncy in the 9th inning, but the Padres were up 10-1 at that time. They go on to win this game 10-2. So no big deal with Jacob giving up the home run. And we see what happens now as this series moves back to San Diego. The Padres, when they go to San Diego on Tuesday, we don't have the pitching matchups for Tuesday's Game 3. You would imagine it'll be Michael King for the Padres. So you think about this series, and they're in a really good position right now. Michael King, who you have a ton of faith in, he pitches in Game 3. You now flip home field advantage. So you really like where the Padres are. Again, in a 5-game series, it just doesn't take a whole lot to change the momentum of this series. And the way Darvish pitched, the way the Padres jumped out in front, the home run by Tatis, second batter of the game, the home run by Peralta. I'll tell you what, another big moment in this game, the bottom half of the second inning. Padres are leading 3-0. They're in the same spot where they were last night. 3-0, bottom half of the second inning. And like the bottom half of the second last night, the Padres dealt with a lot of trouble. Bases loaded, nobody out. But again, Yu Darvish getting through that bottom half of the second inning with just 1 run given up. That felt like an inning where it could have really blown up on Yu Darvish, and it did not. So that was a really, really nice job by Yu Darvish in the bottom half of the second inning to limit that damage to a single run. And again, kept the game 3-1, allowed the Padres to then extend the lead to 4-1 in the 6th inning, and then we had the late runs. The Padres really exploding with that 3-run 8th inning, a 3-run 9th inning, and going ahead 10-1. So just an excellent, excellent job in that sense, putting this game away after Yu Darvish, and you look at it after that second inning. He started to roll. Scoreless 3rd, scoreless 4th inning, scoreless 5th inning, 1 run allowed scoreless 3rd inning, scoreless 4th inning, scoreless 5th inning, scoreless 6th inning, scoreless 7th inning. So he gives up the early run in the second, but then proceeds to finish the outing by throwing 5 scoreless frames. I mean, you cannot say enough about the way Yu Darvish settled in, the way he performed in this game tonight. Again, you just look at every single facet of this ball game, whether it was the offense, whether it was Yu Darvish, whether it was the Padres bullpen, whether it was the Padres getting to the starting pitcher, getting to the bullpen. Padres win it 10-2 here tonight in L.A. in Game 2. When we come back, we'll have all the radio highlights for you. Much, much more to come as the Padres even up this series at a game apiece. We're back after this on the Padres Radio Network. Our postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you here at Dodger Stadium in L.A. The Padres win it here tonight 10-2 as they even up this NLDS at a game apiece. We have a lot to do on our postgame coverage. We'll hear from Jurickson Profar and Jackson Merrill coming up in just a little bit. So stay tuned for that. There was a lot of different stuff going on here in L.A. tonight with fans throwing things on the field, baseballs at Jurickson Profar. The Padres, like we said in the opening segment, responding in a really, really big way with their bats. 6 home runs, 10 runs on 13 hits, but you're going to want to stay tuned to hear what Profar and Merrill and potentially what some other Padres have to say, along with manager Mike Shildt as well. So a lot to do on our post-game coverage. We will hear from Padres players coming up in just a little while. We're going to step aside. When we return, we'll have the radio highlights for you. We'll get into that post-game audio. Much, much more to do as we wrap this one up. The Padres win it 10-2 here in L.A. Our post-game show continues after this. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you here inside Dodger Stadium in L.A. as the Padres win it 10-2, Game 2 of this NLDS. The Padres even up this best-of-5 series at a game apiece as this series now heads back to San Diego. We'll hear from Mike Shildt. We'll hear from Jurickson Profar, Jackson Merrill coming up in just a little while. But first, let's recap what was an entertaining, a very good night for the Padres, a bit of a wild night for the Padres. Let's get into all of it.
What moments had the biggest impact on today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our Game Recap, presented by Bay City Brewing. Enjoy local San Diego craft beer during the playoffs and catch pre- and post-game action at Bay City Brewing's rooftop tasting room, just blocks away from Petco Park.
Jack Flaherty took the mound for the Dodgers in the top of the first inning. Flaherty got a flyout from Luis Arraez, but then it was time for Fernando.
The 0-1 pitch, Tatis launches that one in the air, deep down the left field line. It is way back and gone, a home run into the Dodger bullpen down the left field line. Fernando gets him again, and it's 1-0 here in the first.
Fernando's fourth career postseason home run. Yu Darvish set the Dodgers down in order in the bottom half of the first inning, including an amazing catch from Jurickson Profar, stealing a home run from Mookie Betts in the left field corner, reaching into the stands and literally catching it amongst the hands of fans also trying to catch it. Profar held on to it for a while and stared at the fans in left field. The entire stadium was fooled, as was Mookie Betts, and then finally Profar pulled the baseball out of his glove. So the Padres led 1-0 going to the top of the second inning. Jackson Merrill led off with a single. He advanced to third base on a couple of groundouts. That set the stage for David Peralta.
Here's the 2-1. Peralta swings, sends it in the air to deep center field. Edmonds on the run, going back at the track, at the wall, and it's going to go! A two-run homer for Peralta! Straight away center field! And the Pods have taken Flaherty out twice in the first two innings. They lead it 3-0.
Peralta's first postseason home run. In the bottom half of the inning, the Dodgers had a big-time threat, a leadoff single, another single, a walk. The bases loaded with nobody out. Gavin Lux hit a sac fly to left. That scored Kike Hernandez from third base. But then Tommy Edman hit a line drive to first. Luis Arraez caught it. Will Smith was nowhere near the first base bag, so Arraez easily went to the bag to double him up. The inning was over. The Dodgers scored just one run. The Padres still led 3-1. After that, both starting pitchers settled in. Flaherty worked around a one-out double from Tatis in the third. Darvish recorded a 1-2-3 bottom of the third. He did the same in the fourth inning. Flaherty had a 1-2-3 top of the fifth. At that point, he had set down 8 Padres in a row. Darvish pitched a scoreless bottom half of the inning. The Padres still led 3-1 going to the sixth inning. They rallied against Flaherty. Flaherty hit Tatis with a pitch to start the inning. Jurickson Profar laid down a beautiful bunt to the left of the mound. He reached on a bunt single with runners on first and second. One out, the Dodgers brought in lefty Anthony Banda to face Jackson Merrill.
Here's the 1-0. Hard hit on a line the other way. That's into left field and a base hit. Hernandez gets to it. Fernando's being waved. He's on his way home. He will score. And an RBI single for Jackson Merrill. Second knock of the night for the kid, and the Padres lead it 4-1.
That's all the Padres got in the sixth inning. They had that 4-1 lead. Darvish went back out for the bottom half. He retired the side in order. Padres didn't score against Dodgers relievers Anthony Banda and Daniel Hudson in the top of the seventh. Padres still led 4-1 going bottom seven. Darvish was only 69 pitches in. He went back to work. Before the inning began, fans at Dodger Stadium threw objects towards Padres players, including Jurickson Profar and Fernando Tatis Jr. We had a long delay before the inning began. The umpires and security and the Padres all convening on the field. The PA announcer telling fans not to throw objects onto the field. The Padres rightfully were not happy at all. Finally, we resumed play in the bottom half of the seventh inning. Darvish walked the leadoff man, but he retired the next 3 in a row to end the inning. 7 innings of one-run ball for Yu Darvish. In the top of the eighth inning, Ryan Brazier came in for LA. Padres still led 4-1. Brazier got the first 2 outs, but then a Manny Machado single. Jackson Merrill was next.
Pitch on the way, and Merrill swings, sends it in the air to left field and deep. Hernandez is going back. He is at the wall. This one, gonna go! Jackson Merrill's first career postseason home run. A 2-run shot here in the eighth, and it's 6-1 San Diego at Dodger Stadium.
This kid is special.
That was it for Brazier. Michael Grove came in. He faced Xander Bogaerts.
Padres have hit 3 home runs here tonight. Payoff pitch, and Bogaerts swings, sends one in the air to deep left field. He might have just hit another. Hernandez is back at the wall. This one is gonna go! Xander Bogaerts, bad leg and all. It's the 4th of the night for the Padres. They go back-to-back in the 8th, and it's 7-1.
A 7-1 Padre lead. They still had that 7-1 lead heading to the 9th inning, and it just felt like the Padres were just getting started in this game. Kyle Higashioka had a big swing.
1-0. Higashioka swings, sends one in the air, deep to left center field. Edman is back at the wall. He will leap. It's gonna go! Kyle Higashioka with another postseason home run. His 3rd in 4 games. The Padres with their 5th of the night, and it's 8-1.
So Higashioka, the home run. That was the Padres' fifth of the night, like Jesse said. Luis Arraez had a single. Then it was time for more Nando.
First pitch on the way. Fernando swings, sends it in the air to deep right center field. Edman is back. This time all he can do is watch. It's going to go. Another home run. Padres with their sixth home run of the night. Fernando with his second. It is 10-1 at Dodger Stadium.
Alec Jacob came on for the bottom half of the ninth inning with the Padres leading 10-1. Jacob would give up a solo home run to Max Muncy, but ultimately Jacob would put on the finishing touch here in Game 2.
2-2 to Gavin Lux, and a pitch swung on and missed. Strike three. Alec Jacob puts the door closed for the Padres here in the bottom of the ninth inning. He strikes out Gavin Lux, and the Pods break out against Jack Flaherty in the Dodger bullpen as they win this game 10-2 and even the series at a game apiece.
And that was that here tonight. Padres win it 10-2 against the LA Dodgers. 10 runs on 13 hits, no errors for San Diego. 2 runs, 5 hits, and no errors for the Dodgers. As the Padres even up this best-of-5 series at a game apiece. Yu Darvish, 7 brilliant innings, 1 run allowed. Jack Flaherty took the loss, 5 innings and a third, 4 earned runs given up. And the Padres hitting a franchise record 6 home runs in a postseason game, the most by any team on the road in any postseason game played on the road. So how about that? It was a historic night with the power for the Padres here tonight in L.A. We told you about that great catch from Jurickson Profar. I mean, just outstanding and one of the best moments of the night. It had nothing to do with the Padres hitting a home run, rather the Padres stealing a home run. Let's hear tonight's catch of the game.
Which defensive play had the biggest impact on the game?
That is swung on, line into left field. Profar charging, dives forward, and he makes the catch.
Let's take a listen to the catch of the game, presented by the Fish Market San Diego Bayfront. Before or after the game, enjoy their fresh catch of the day. Fresh local seafood is always on the hook at the Fish Market, located at 750 North Harbor Drive.
1-0 Padres, bottom of the first. Mookie swings at the first pitch, sends it in the air to deep left field. Profar's going back. He is at the little wall. He will leap into the stands, and he can't make the catch. A home run. Profar had a shot, but he had to go into enemy territory. Did he end up catching it?
He did indeed.
Oh, my goodness. Profar did go into enemy territory, and he does make the catch, and unbelievably, the Padre lead is still 1-0.
What a catch by Jurickson Profar, and the reason the call was the way it was from Jesse and Tony there, everybody in this building thought it was a home run. The way Jurickson reacted, just hopping up and down, staring towards the fans in left field, you thought he was hopping up and down, maybe because he didn't catch the baseball, but he was just staring at the fans knowing the baseball was well in his mitt, and then he finally pulled it out and showed everybody, the 50-plus thousand in the building. TV messed it up. They were playing home run graphics. I thought it was out. Everybody thought it was out. But only one man in the building knew he caught the baseball initially, and that was Jurickson Profar, who literally ripped it from the hands of Dodger fans in the left field seats. An amazing catch, prevented the game from being, I guess at that time, it would have been a 1-1 game, so kept the Padres in front, taking a home run away from Mookie Betts. That was Jurickson Profar here tonight. All right, well, step aside. When we return, we have a lot to do. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. We'll also hear from the Padres inside the clubhouse. We'll hear from Jackson Merrill. We'll hear from Jurickson Profar. We'll hear what the Padres players had to say after a big night, 6 home runs here in L.A., a lot of fireworks with the fans here in L.A., throwing stuff on the field, all kinds of stuff going on. The Dodgers, Jack Flaherty in particular, yelling at Manny Machado, yelling at the Padres dugout. So we have a lot to hear about from the Padres manager Mike Shildt here tonight. Padres win it 10-2 in Game 2 of the NLDS. Our post-game coverage continues when we return on the Padres Radio Network. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you here inside Dodger Stadium as we wrap this one up from L.A. Padres win it 10-2 as they even up this best-of-5 series in the NLDS at a game apiece. We have a lot to do. We got through the radio highlights. You've heard a lot about this ball game, but this is a night where you want to hear from Padres players and the Padre manager. We'll hear from Jurickson Profar. We'll hear from Manny Machado and some others coming up a little bit later. But first, let's go downstairs here at Dodger Stadium inside the interview room and hear from Padre manager Mike Shildt after this 10-2 win in Game 2 of the NLDS.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Presented by Sinley Food. Spice up your culinary life.
Can we start with Darvish? The way he handled the lineup and specifically making sure that there was nobody on base for Ohtani today seemed to be really important.
Yeah, you was fantastic. Threw the ball exceptionally well, all parts of the lineup, including Ohtani, and give him a ton of credit for keeping the focus and concentration, to be able to go grab that seventh inning. That was obviously pretty important.
What did you make of the commotion on the field today?
That's a pretty broad question, man. Series started with the comment about, a fight and punching and, we're going to, beat them to the punch and all that. And somebody brought it up to me, and I don't read all that stuff, no offense. But, we've been punching on the field all year, and hostile environment. What I got out of it was a bunch of dudes that showed up in front of a big hostile crowd with stuff being thrown at them and said, we're going to talk with our play. We ain't going to back down. We're going to elevate our game. We're going to be together, and we're going to take care of business.
Do you have an update on Bogaerts? What is he dealing with?
He was cramped up, so we'll see. No more tomorrow.
Leg, calf, quad, what was it?
It was a hamstring.
Mark, in the front.
When Betts hit the ball to left field, did you think that was a home run? And how important was that catch in terms of changing the momentum of the game?
That was big. We get off with a 1-0 lead. Toddy puts another good swing on a baseball. Did that several times tonight. He's been doing it. Go back out, and Mookie puts a swing, and Pro got him. So it's a big play. Kept the momentum on our side, and we just took it from there.
Russell.
Mike, when you talk about composure and your team being able to, despite the success and everything going on, keep themselves composed, how much pride does that give you, where it seemed like from the broadcast, Manny brought everybody together, had a conversation, that you guys can deal with that in-house without you having to step up and say something in-game?
Yeah, no, I went out in the field to make sure my players were safe and make sure there was some precautions taken. Dan and the umpires crew, I thought, did a really good job in a tough situation. They kept their composure, fine balance between, figuring out getting them off the field. We're trying to get you out there for the seventh. The guys are wanting to play, making sure guys are safe. So I felt like the crew did a really good job. So hats off to Dan and that group. And then we talked a little bit on the field, and then, to Manny's credit, his leadership gets everybody. We, he's able to share, how we want to compete in the dugout with our group. And, it was impressive, and just it brings us even closer together.
From a team standpoint, with your outfield, specifically with Fernando and Jackson and Jurickson, what they can do both offensively and defensively, how big of an advantage is that for you? Especially going into a postseason where you never know where you're going to need them, whether it's offense or defense.
Yeah, no, it's good. We want to win on every side of the ball. You mentioned Robin, Mookie. Toddy made a really nice play on Hernandez's ball. Arise with a little pick, but specifically the outfielders, when guys can beat you in every different area of the game, that's how this game's played, and that's how we like to play. So, Jackson, big day for him again. Pro's bunt I thought was exceptional to kind of get us going again, to open it up, and Toddy being Toddy. So, they're ballers.
Standing up on the left.
Mr. Shildt, right here.
Okay, sorry.
When that thing happened in the top of the seventh, Did you ever think about maybe you need to change Darvish, or you wanted him to finish that inning?
Wanted him to finish the inning. He's thrown the ball exceptionally well. Everything was working. He was magnificent again. I didn't probably articulate that well enough earlier. But now we're in, talked to Ruben about it. It's a long delay. I don't know how long, but it was multiple delays. I mean, we've got things coming at Pro. We got things coming at Toddy. It was a long. And, first at bat, he walks Will. And, so we got Jason going in case. But settled down, made his pitches, and, got his guys.
One last one for Mike. Let's finish up with Barry.
Mike, just a couple of things. So Darvish was warming up through that whole thing, too. And as he's adding up the pitches, it's sort of like I'm looking out there go, don't throw too many, don't throw too many. It's kind of like you're wasting it at that point. And like you said, then he walks the first guy. So, I mean, it was obviously a disruption for him as well as he was pitching, right?
Yeah, clearly a disruption. As far as how much, Darvish threw, I mean, this guy's experienced guy, so I think he knows how to self-regulate what he needed to do to get ready for the inning to start again.
Also, on the Ohtani at bat, where he threw like just a mixture of like 80 mile an hour and 70 mile an hour curveballs, to your point from yesterday, finding a way to get him out, not throwing fastballs down the middle. And then the final one was the hardest pitch he threw, and he just chinked it back to the mound. I thought that was incredible pitching for him.
I do too. Pitching is the disruption of hitters' balance and timing. That's why I feel comfortable about our guys. We have a lot of really talented arms. You was really good at that. The back and forth is the timing. The in and out is the balance, and he was able to do that masterfully tonight against the whole lineup.
And then the one last thing is that did you think the whole thing kind of started with Tatis getting hit there and then Manny and Flaherty going at each other for a while and then kind of devolved into that 7-inning thing?
Yeah, I don't know how it got there. I mean, listen, there's competition between the lines that's going to take place that, again, we don't really look to start anything. We're not going to take it. That's going to happen in high leverage situations. How that happens is no excuse for what happens in the stands and things being thrown at and safety of our players. There's no escalation to that. We know, both sides know this is a competitive series. We're going to compete hard. They're going to compete hard. Things are going to happen. We can leave that on the field. But as far as anything happening, in a stadium like that with towards our players, that's just not acceptable. And I know we're about to go back to San Diego with a very, very loud, raucous, aggressive, hungry crowd that's going to be super excited and going to be getting after it. But I know also that we'll stay classy, San Diego.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt after this 10-2 win for the Padres in Game 2 of the NLDS. Sam Levitt back with you inside Dodger Stadium. We'll hear from Jurickson Profar, who was kind of the center of what was going on with the fans. I don't want to say the center because it looked like fans were throwing stuff at Fernando, or at least towards Fernando Tatis Jr. As well in right field during that delay before the bottom half of the 7th inning began. But look, Profar, he went into the stands to make that incredible catch in the bottom half of the 1st inning. And from that point on, the fans here in L.A. were not a big fan of Jurickson. And then really it started with the fans throwing baseballs at Jurickson, towards Jurickson in that bottom half of the 7th inning. So we'll play what Jurickson had to say inside the Padres clubhouse for you in a moment here. We'll also hear from Manny Machado, and so we'll get some additional post-game reaction from inside the Padres clubhouse. Frank Marchese doing a really good job back in our studio getting all this audio queued up. So, Frank, we'll communicate live here. Let me know when this Profar audio is ready to go, and we'll get to that. We'll start hearing what Jurickson had to say with the media. Okay, let's go back downstairs inside the clubhouse. Let's hear what Jurickson Profar had to say after a very hostile environment, transpired here in L.A. A lot of emotions all over the place. The players, the fans, all of it. Let's hear what Jurickson had to say after this 10-2 win.
I know we we show everything that we are, as a team.
You seem to, be in the middle of stuff, whether it was other, all the time here. How much do you enjoy coming out on top in this place, in this game in particular?
Well, every game, when we win, I enjoy. But this one, a little more, just tying the series and going back home.
From your perspective, what happened in the seventh inning before this of that bottom of the inning?
They start throwing baseball on the field.
You look really irate. What were you telling the umpires and the security people out there?
Nothing.
You weren't upset?
Yes, I was upset. Yeah. It was just, that's you can hurt someone. I hope our people in San Diego don't do that.
Did you feel like you weren't being protected out there?
No, I felt safe, but you still don't do that. It's not, it's not the way.
It was a long way out. How impressive what you was able to do.
Yeah, it's great. I felt so bad for him. He had to wait for that. I think yesterday they wanted to do that, but then they got a couple runs and they win. But they wanted to start throwing stuff on the field too yesterday.
You saw that people were looking like that yesterday?
No, they just yelling, throw.
So the greatest catch of your career?
Yes, for sure.
How did you do that?
For sure.
Did you mean to trick everyone?
I'm sorry?
Did you mean to kind of fool everyone into thinking
No.
it was done?
No. I always, that was one of my wishes. I wanted to rob a homer, and I did it in a playoff game.
Where would you blow?
That was Jurickson Profar after this 10-2 win for the Padres in L.A. in Game 2 of the National League Division Series. So you heard there from Pro. Look, I thought Profar handled that really well post-game. And, obviously it's not a safe situation if you have fans throwing baseball towards a player on the field, and was not a great situation and can get somebody hurt. So I understand Jurickson being upset about it. You heard Jurickson feeling the worst there for Yu Darvish, who had to wait around and then did a great job in the bottom half of the seventh inning, working around a leadoff walk to Teoscar Hernandez. I'll tell you what, in that seventh inning, it's only a 4-1 game. The Padres in front, and then Darvish has to wait around through the mayhem before the bottom half of the seventh inning begins. And then he walks Hernandez, and for a second there, I'm thinking to myself, man, I hope that Yu doesn't start to lose this great command he's had all night, because he had to wait around to start this bottom half of the seventh inning. Walks the leadoff man, but then retired Muncy, Smith, and Lux 1, 2, 3 to get out of that seventh inning, make it 7 innings of one-run ball for Yu Darvish here tonight. So, look, I thought Jurickson Profar handled that really well on the field at the time, and also in the clubhouse after the game with what he said just moments ago. And look, I understood it. Jurickson, not happy about it at all. I mean, you're just standing out there, you're very vulnerable in that situation, and fans can't throw stuff. I mean, that's the bottom line. Can't happen. Can't happen, shouldn't happen. And unfortunately, it did here tonight. The PA announcer here in L.A. had to get on the microphone and tell the fans, remind the fans that they would be subject to ejection if they throw things on the field. So you totally understand it from Jurickson's point of view, why he was upset. And I thought the Padres and Mike Shildt, they did a good job getting around him, talking with security, talking with the umpiring crew, and getting that situation ultimately under control before that bottom half of the seventh inning started. Also, in this game, not just the fan part of it, but also Jack Flaherty and Manny Machado had a really interesting interaction in this game. In the sixth inning, Flaherty was facing Machado. Top of the sixth inning, Padres had a 3-1 lead at that time. Flaherty strikes out Manny with a couple of runners on base, and then I can't say what Flaherty said, and you could see it on the TV replay, what Flaherty said to Manny. I can't say it here on the radio because it was not very nice and using not very nice words. But then it appeared that when Manny walked back to the dugout and Flaherty was coming off the field, there was some jawing back and forth. So more kind of fire from the Dodgers here tonight, and tensions rising in this game as it went along. So let's go back downstairs inside the Padres clubhouse. And before we hear from Manny Machado, let's pause for station ID on the Padres radio network.
After starting everything else.
Where?
After you
Which one? There's a few.
The
Strikeout after the strikeout.
Let's start at the beginning.
Yeah, man, he made some good pitches, right? He made quality pitches, got me going, and he won that competition, right? Made his pitches. I couldn't deliver with that situation there. Runners on first and second, no outs, right? So he won that one for sure.
What were you guys saying to each other?
Just going back and forth, competition, right? I mean, things that happen in between the lines, people just going back and forth. He's competing for his ball club, and I'm trying to get a big hit for my team. So, yeah, man. I mean, this is the beauty of postseason baseball, right?
Manny, did you take exception with something he said to you?
No, I mean, I didn't even see it. Until my dugout started screaming back at him. So, I mean, he won it. I mean, he made his pitches, right? I swung at a ball 4. He got me twice today, and I tip my cap. When credit's due, I kept walking. He made his pitch. I kept going, but then I get to the end of the dugout and I see my team starts sparking. So that's kind of when I figured something, he was probably saying something, and that's when everything kind of just went out, and I didn't really know what was really going on.
When you went back out for the field, you were still going at it. When Jack was in the dugout, what was being said there? Almost looked like he was challenging you.
Honestly, you can't really hear with this crowd, so I don't really know what was being said. A bunch of gibberish going back and forth, and it was a long inning for us after that with balls being thrown, and kind of icing our pitcher there a little bit, and Darvish coming out and then having that 0 was huge for us as well. So. Yeah, man, it's a beautiful thing to be playing in postseason baseball.
Manny, Flaherty said that you threw a ball into their dugout, and that's what prompted him to start barking.
That I threw what? I throw balls all the time into dugouts.
Into their dugouts?
I throw. Okay. Yeah, I mean, both dugouts. I mean, they have ball boys. You throw the ball back in there. So, yeah, I mean, when you try to hit our best hitter, right? Get him out. You can't get him out. Don't hit him, right? I mean, we don't go out there and we're not. They got the best player in the game, right? Ohtani. We don't go out there and try to hit Ohtani. We try to get him out, right? We don't go out there and try to hit my guy.
All right, that was Manny Machado inside the Padres clubhouse after Game 2 of this NLDS. So, a lot to chew on there. First, the back and forth with Jack Flaherty, whether Manny really didn't know what he said or see it, and with the crowd and all that, who knows? It's a good PR answer from Manny to maybe just avoid kind of getting into what was said back and forth. But you did get a little something there. Number one, apparently Flaherty, and I had not heard or read this yet tonight, that Flaherty said it's because Manny threw a ball into the Dodger dugout, I guess. I'll tell you what, I watch Manny Machado play a lot of baseball, and I see a lot of stuff he does between innings and stuff. I've seen him throw, whether it be a foul ball, whether it be a ball that goes around the diamond before an inning starts, I've seen him throw a ball into the other dugout to a bat boy. I have no idea why that would elicit a reaction from the Dodgers. I don't know enough about the situation, but that seems like a pretty normal baseball and Manny Machado thing to me. Interesting there, and what he's referring to when he talks about hitting the Padres' best player. Here's what he's talking about. The home run. Well, let's go through Fernando Tatis Jr.'s night. Fernando hit a home run against Flaherty in the first inning, a double in the third, and then in the sixth inning, to start that inning, Flaherty hits Fernando to begin that top of the sixth inning. That's when Profar came to the plate. And Profar, appeared to maybe be having some words with Will Smith. It was hard to tell from upstairs whether it was Will Smith, whether it was more the Dodger dugout. That's sort of when all this began. And then Profar lays down a bunt. Flaherty can't get to it. Runners on first and second as Tatis moves up to second. Then Flaherty strikes out Machado. Flaherty says something not so nice to Manny on his way back to the dugout. Flaherty ends up coming out of the game. It appears Manny and Flaherty are kind of jawing back and forth at one another. So what he was talking about, though, with the hit by pitch, don't hit our guy, is Fernando. And he's basically saying Flaherty couldn't get him out, so he had to hit him. So, yeah, look, there's something to this, okay? We'll see what else happens in this series, but there's a little something to all this with maybe the Padres thinking, I don't know this for sure, maybe the Padres thinking that there was some intent behind hitting Fernando. I don't know that, but it doesn't sound like the Padres were all that happy about Fernando getting hit there. Certainly Manny didn't sound very happy about Fernando getting hit there. And when you really look at that sixth inning, that's kind of what sparked all the emotion. And then you mix in the Profar catch in the first inning, and then the fans throwing stuff on the field before the bottom half of the seventh inning began. And that's kind of the big mix of things that happened here to create a lot of fireworks here tonight, a lot of tension, high-running emotions in this game. So that was interesting for Manny Machado, really was. Didn't get too much into the back and forth with Flaherty, but he did get into, Fernando getting hit there. Does not sound like the Padres were very happy about Fernando getting hit. Although I'll wrap up this segment with this, then we'll go to break. We'll come back. We'll get into some of our normal segments and see if we want to play any more post-game reaction from inside the Padres clubhouse. I will say this, and it goes back to what Mike Shildt said a little while ago towards the start of his post-game press conference. What I love about what the Padres did here tonight was they talked with their bats, and they talked with their play on the field. Whether it was Profar robbing the home run, whether it was the 6 home runs hit tonight, whether it was Darvish being great tonight, 7 innings of 1-run ball, they talked with their play on the field. There was a lot going on in this game between the chirping back and forth from the Dodgers dugout, from the Padres dugout, whatever was said, between the fans in left field getting into it with Profar and the stuff getting thrown on the field and the long delay we had and all of that. There was a lot going on that created a real hostile environment here in L.A. tonight. It really, there was a lot going on here. So the Padres, I thought, on both ends, with Darvish and with their bats tonight, I thought they showed a lot of poise here tonight. A lot of poise in a really, really tough environment with a lot of different stuff going on that could have really knocked them off kilter. Really good job by the Padres. And at the end of the night, we can talk about the fireworks, we can talk about Flaherty, we can talk about all this. At the end of the night, the Padres got a 10-2 win, and now they've got an opportunity to go back home to San Diego and win this series. So that's the most important thing, the win and the fact that the Padres now head back home with this series even at a game apiece, and now we see what happens in San Diego beginning on Tuesday. We'll step aside. When we return, we'll get into some of our normal segments. We'll have our player of the game. We'll take a look at the other game, too, in the other NLDS between the Mets and the Phillies earlier today. We'll hear some more post-game reaction from inside the Padres clubhouse. Again, the final score tonight, Padres 10 and the Dodgers 2. Our post-game show continues after this. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside Dodger Stadium here in L.A. as we wrap this one up. Padres 10 and the Dodgers 2 as the Padres even up this best-of-5 division series at a game apiece. This series now moves back to San Diego, Game 3 of this NLDS on Tuesday at Petco Park. And now we know, by the way, that there will be a Game 4 on Wednesday as well. The question is, will this series be done in 4? Or will it be done in 5? It's got to be one or the other now with this series all tied up. Padres 1 and the Dodgers 1. And now the Padres will turn to Michael King on the mound on Tuesday after that terrific wild card series start. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a little bit. We have a lot to do still. Don't go anywhere. We've got a ton of people listening right now, watching right now. This is your only place for local wall-to-wall Padres postseason coverage. And this is the only place for those of you listening and watching right now. This is the only place where you're going to hear this type of content, this type of post-game reaction after this type of game with all the drama, all the back and forth in this game, what happened with the fans here in L.A. This is the only place throughout the postseason you will hear stuff like this right after the game. So stay with us throughout the 2024 postseason. We're going to have a lot of nights just like this, maybe not with as much drama as this and stuff to talk about that didn't have to do necessarily with what was going on during the actual game, but this is the only place for stuff like this throughout the postseason. So thanks for hanging with us on this Sunday evening as we continue our post-game coverage. Let's go back downstairs here at Dodger Stadium. Fernando Tatis Jr. had a huge night. The early home run against Flaherty, a home run, 2-run shot in the 9th inning. He had 3 hits in this game. He also got hit by Jack Flaherty in the 6th inning. That seemed to start all the drama here tonight between these two teams, and Jack Flaherty, being a little out of sorts, and then, talking to Manny Machado after he struck him out. Everything we talked about already tonight, but bottom line again, Fernando had 2 of the 6 home runs for the Padres here tonight. He is absolutely dialed in right now. He is locked in right now. There's no doubt about it. Fernando has been terrific so far through 4 games of this postseason. Let's go downstairs inside the interview room and hear from Fernando.
Toddy, how would you characterize your relationship with fans at Dodger Stadium?
Wild. Oh, man, it's definitely wild out here, but at the same time, it's a good environment for baseball, although people get carried away a little bit for their emotions, but, I mean, it's a good back and forth, and, at the end of the day, it's a show, and we should enjoy every moment.
How did you feel about what took place in the top of the 7th inning with the things coming on the field, security?
Just think, like I said, just the emotion is going through the roof. Dodger fans, they were just not happy. I mean, they're losing the game, obviously, and just a lot of back and forth. And what can I say? Wish they could control a little bit more of their emotion. But at the end of the day, I see that it's part of a game.
Alden, straight back.
Hey, Fernando, I know you often hear it from fans in right field. Right here, straight, right in front of you. I know you often hear it from fans in right field. Did today seemingly, in your mind, go over the line a little bit? And at what point did it kind of escalate the back and forth with you and the fans out here tonight?
For me, I feel like just when it went over the line, when they started throwing stuff into the field, I feel like that should not be happening on a big league game. And then the words, I mean, fans are coming over here to a baseball park to enjoy themselves. They can say whatever they want. I really don't mind. I'll start shipping back, and I'll give you a moment of where you can enjoy yourself. Just me talking to you as a fan, and yeah, I just see it that way, and I embrace it that way.
And in that 7th inning, when a couple of balls got thrown in Jurickson Profar's direction, you guys all gathered together in left field. Why did you guys all come together in that moment?
Just a lot of stuff just going at the time, and we have to stay together in a moment like that. As a team and the group we are, we obviously staying together, and we saw our boy Profar out there getting balls, throws at him, and he has his rights to be mad, but at the end of the day, we understand that we're in a mission and stuff like that is gonna happen, and we just come together as a group as quick as possible, and we talk stuff, and man, we just keep grinding it like we just did.
Staying in the back on the left side.
Fernando, in a short series, fair to say this is a game your team had to have. Tell me about your night and getting the team started with the first inning homer and hitting 2 home runs in a playoff game.
Just our mindset, how we're coming up the gate, and just with our foot on the pedal since the beginning, and that's one thing that we have been doing since the beginning, the entire year. So we're definitely not changing that, and we're just adding more pressure, and that's what we're capable of as a group, and we're gonna keep with that mentality.
Russell, down here on the right.
Fernando, you talked about the environment and playing in this ballpark. You historically play very well here. I think you have the most homers outside of Petco here. Is there something about this ballpark that brings out the best in you?
Just the energy that is over here in Dodger Stadium. I mean, everybody know the type of the type of game that we're playing. The players from the other side, just the talent is through the roof, and ourselves same way. So every time you're playing against the best, obviously you want to come on top, and you definitely want to show who you really are.
We'll stay here on the right side in the third row.
Can you tell how did you saw the Yu Darvish's pitching today?
It was amazing. It was really beautiful. See him pitch that way in a postseason game, especially knowing what he went through all this season. He's coming back from dealing with injuries, and coming back and performing on a critical game for us the way he did. He definitely set the tone for us, and he gave us the opportunity to play the game that we did today. And man, just happy for my boy right now.
And again, standing up in the back.
Did you realize Profar caught that ball? And if so, when did you realize?
I did not. I was probably like everybody else, had that question mark until he started jumping back, and then he showed the ball, and man, my emotion went through the roof. I was screaming at him. I definitely knew that he wasn't listening to me, but still I was screaming at him and just happy how we're playing this game right now.
And I know Jackson's done similar stuff all year, but has he shown you anything in October with what he's done on this stage?
He's just going to show up and ball. What this kid has done for this team this year is just amazing. His talent is unbelievable. His character, I feel like everybody can see it, what type of baseball player he is. He's a great human, but man, he's 21, and the way he's playing baseball, I can definitely see something great in him, and I just wish him nothing but the best.
And we'll finish up with Jeff on the left.
What can you tell us about the meeting that Manny called in the dugout after that 7th inning?
Like we all been talking, just a lot of stuff going on, at the moment, and we just gather up together and we tell each other, especially Manny, to control our emotions, especially him when he was chirping at the starting pitcher from their side, but just regroup, resettle. The game was on our side. We know what we're capable of, and man, it was just a reminder who we really are as a group, and just how crazy we can go a place, how we can turn a place to go nuts. So that was all about.
And the thing that led up to some of the commotion appeared to be the pitch that hit you. A lot of talking between Manny and Flaherty after that. How did you feel about that pitch?
It was a 2-seamer. The game is on the line. I know, my boys had my back the entire time, and everybody saw it tonight. But at the end of the game, we're playing baseball. It's too early in the game to be doing stuff like that, and there's too much on an important series just to be throwing at guys. That's what I understand. That's what my IQ of baseball is telling me. So, when he hit me, he just pumped me. He just gave me more energy. My boys gave me more energy, and I know from there we're just gonna embrace that moment and just take that energy on our side and just play baseball how we did tonight.
All right, Fernando, congrats on the win. We'll see you in San Diego.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that was Fernando Tatis Jr. A lot of stuff to chew on there from Fernando as we welcome you back inside Dodger Stadium. Padres win Game 2 of the NLDS 10-2. I'm trying to decide in my head, and I wonder what you listening out there, what your interpretation of that last answer was about Flaherty hitting Fernando with that first pitch of the 6th inning. I couldn't quite decipher there if Fernando was saying essentially that, hey, it's early in the game. It's not that early. It's the 6th inning, but it's a close game. Like, why would Flaherty be throwing at him? Or if they felt like there was some intent there, I couldn't quite tell just by listening to it to kind of decipher there, which way Fernando was leaning there. Regardless, look, great answers from Fernando, who I thought, much like Profar, much like Manny here tonight. I think the Padres had a great night. I'll just tell you. I think between the way they played, the way they handled all the stuff that happened tonight in real time, and by everything I'm hearing post-game here tonight, Padres had a great night. I mean, these are good answers. They're calm. They were not rattled. But, look, clearly, well, I don't want to say clearly, but it does appear based on what Manny said, and we heard that earlier, it does appear like maybe the Padres felt like there could have been some intent there with Flaherty. I'm not totally sure by listening to the post-game remarks here from Manny and from Fernando. So, look, I'm sure, we'll have to go and listen, read what Jack Flaherty had to say, what the Dodgers had to say. But, look, the Padres obviously responded in that 6th inning. They got, whether there was any intent there or not. I don't know that there was or not, but look, he hit him, and Tatis came around to score on the Jackson Merrill RBI single. So it ended up hurting the Dodgers in that 6th inning, and then the Padres end up, collecting more runs in the 8th inning and the 9th inning to put it away. But good stuff there from Fernando, and we shall see what happens as this series moves to San Diego, if there's more fireworks and chirping, and who knows what the final 2 to 3 games of this series might hold. But a lot to chew on in this game here tonight, no doubt about that. And hope you've enjoyed hearing from all these players tonight. A lot to decipher and discuss. And again, we can talk about all the fireworks and everything that happened really away from the actual game itself and the hits and the runs and the score, but the Padres did a great job tonight, both on the mound with what Yu Darvish did and with the bats. The 6 home runs, 10 runs on 13 hits total. All right, we'll hear from Jackson Merrill before we go. Before we do that, let's get to a couple of our normal segments. Let's take a quote-unquote full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, tell you what's going on with the other National League Division Series, and also what's happening tomorrow in the 2 American League Division Series.
Let's take a trip around the Bigs and tell you about the scores you need to know in our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Meat, where great taste meets integrity.
We had one other game going on today. That was the Mets and the Phillies in Philadelphia. This was a wild game in Game 2 of the NLDS in Philadelphia. Mets had an early 3-0 lead in that game. Mark Vientos, a 2-run home run. Pete Alonso, a solo home run in the 6th inning to make it 3-zip. But then the Phillies got a Bryce Harper home run to make it 3-2. Nick Castellanos then hit a solo home run in the 6th inning to make it 3-3. The Mets took a 4-3 lead on a Brandon Nimmo solo home run. And then in the bottom half of the 8th inning, the Phillies took the lead on a Bryson Stott, 2-run triple to make it a 5-4 game. Then JT Realmuto drove in another run to make it 6-4. So the Phillies had a 6-4 lead going into the 9th inning. Mark Vientos then hit a 2-run home run in the top of the 9th inning to make it 6-6. So back and forth it went. And then finally, bottom half of the 9th inning, Nick Castellanos, the walk-off single in the bottom half of the 9th inning to score. Trey Turner from second base, and that was it. Back and forth battle. Really a classic game, I think, in Philadelphia. Phillies beat the Mets 7-6, so both National League Division Series are now tied at a game apiece. As far as what's going on tomorrow, the 2 NLDS series, National League Division Series, they have off days tomorrow. Well, workout days. I think there is going to be a workout at Petco Park tomorrow, but the American League Division Series, after both series were off today, they continue tomorrow. 1:08 p.m. Pacific time between the Tigers and the Guardians tomorrow in Game 2. Royals and the Yankees in New York at 4:38 for Game 2 of that American League Division Series. And that is a full look at the quote-unquote out-of-town scoreboard. Just 4 series going on, 2 National League Division Series, 2 American League Division Series. And by the way, there will be a workout at Petco Park tomorrow. Just got some information on that. So we'll have coverage of that workout tomorrow on our social media and perhaps live here on the station with various players talking tomorrow at Petco Park. So we have a quote-unquote off day of this series, but we'll see the Padres tomorrow at the workout. I'm sure I'll be there tomorrow afternoon. And again, stay tuned to our social media and live here on the air to 97.3 The Fan. We'll have coverage from the workout before Game 3 on Tuesday at Petco Park. Before we hear from Jackson Merrill and wrap things up here tonight, let's tell you about tonight's Player of the Game.
Which player had the biggest impact on today's game? Let's find out who is today's Player of the Game. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Catch every game at Patties and Pints. Plus, enjoy $4 beer every Thursday. Visit valleyviewcasino.com today.
First pitch on the way. Fernando swings, sends it in the air to deep right center field. Edman is back. This time, all he can do is watch. It's going to go. Another home run. Padres with their 6th home run of the night. Fernando with his 2nd. It is 10-1 at Dodger Stadium.
What a night for Fernando Tatis Jr. 2 home runs, 3 hits total. Had the early home run against Flaherty to make it 1-0, and then the capper, the 2-run home run against Enrique Hernandez Enrique Hernandez is Kike Hernandez. I was getting confused on the box score here. Edgardo Enriquez was the pitcher that gave up the home run to Fernando Tatis Jr. in that 10th inning. In the 9th inning, that's the one you just heard to make it a 10-1 game. So great stuff from Fernando here tonight. How about this for Fernando? The 2 home runs and the 3 hits tonight. Fernando Tatis Jr. to begin the postseason, 4 games, 9 for 14, 3 home runs, 2 doubles, 5 RBIs. He has been locked in. And I'll tell you what, we said it at the time on Tuesday night in Game 1 of the Wild Card Series against Atlanta. He hit that 2-run home run in the first inning. That set the tone for that series. I will contend that was the biggest swing of that 2-game span. Was what Fernando did in the first inning of that game. So he's been terrific. I mean, what a time for Fernando to be on fire here to begin the postseason. Big stuff for El Nino. All right, well, playing to El Nino's right, of course, is Jackson Merrill. Jackson had a big night. I feel like we haven't talked a lot about Jackson here tonight. 3 hits. Had 2 singles, a home run, 3 RBIs, had the 2-run home run in the 8th inning to make it a 6-1 game. So Jackson Merrill with his first postseason home run. Congratulations to him. He continues to just do tremendous things in his rookie campaign, and he has continued to have big hits here in the postseason. Let's go back downstairs here at Dodger Stadium inside the Padres clubhouse. Let's hear some post-game reaction from Jackson Merrill.
How dominant he appeared to you from the outfield?
That lineup, any lineup, I take you 100% of the time. And,
Jackson,
not surprised.
I know how you feel about Manny and how many times he's picked the team up. What was it like in that inning where he and Flaherty are chirping, and then you come up and you have the chance to drive the run in?
Yeah, I mean, anytime we can back up our brothers, regardless if it's me to Manny or Manny to anybody else, I think the whole team is backing each other up. And it just happened to be me tonight, and I just wanted to do a job. I didn't really look back after I hit it. After the single, I just continued to play the game and let it go. But after that, when tempers flare, it gets your energy going, gets your emotions going. You just kind of got to lock it in and stay right there.
What's it been like for you, at such a young age, to just this whirlwind and to have such success so quickly here?
Just having fun, man. There's nothing more to it. There's nothing more in my mind about it. I'm just having fun. I'm just taking it one day at a time. I want to play as long as I can this year, and we're still here, so let's keep going.
Where'd you give the catch by Jurickson Profar and the troll job on the fans?
Bro, he's an idiot. I know it's hilarious, though. No, he's having fun. He's playing like a little kid, and I love that. So, regardless of what he does during the game, I'm always going to back him up. And I thought that was kind of funny, but if I was a movie, I'd have been pretty mad.
Did you know right away?
That he caught it?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I was there like, damn, 1-1, what are we doing? But no, and he jumped around and was like, it looked like he was like, no. So then he threw it in. I was like, oh my God, what are we doing? First inning, we're going like this. I love it.
What was Manny's message to the team in the dugout?
Stay locked in. Focus on the task at hand.
All right, that was Jackson Merrill, the rookie, who had a great night here tonight. Again, for Merrill, 3 hits, including a 2-run home run. His first career postseason home run, 3 RBIs total. So how about that? Even Jackson Merrill, who was in center field, he didn't know that Profar caught it. That was great postgame comments from Jackson Merrill. Always loose, always having fun. And I got to, I'll be honest with you, because a few different players and questions have alluded to it here tonight about this quick meeting that Manny had in the dugout with the Padres after, I suppose, that bottom half of the 7th inning and everything that was going on. I've got to look into that a little bit more. From where I was sitting upstairs, I didn't really see it or notice it at the time, so I'm going to have to go back and see what exactly was shown on TV or what I can find on social media. But look, again, the Padres did, and this is how we'll wrap it up tonight, the Padres did a terrific job in this game. I don't think you can say that enough, both in the way they played and the way they handled what was a very hostile environment tonight. They handled it really well. They hit 6 home runs. They took an early lead. They built on it. They got to Flaherty. They got to the Dodger bullpen. Yu Darvish was outstanding. I mean, look, Padres scored plenty tonight, but Yu Darvish giving up 1 run in 7 innings. He was tremendous tonight on a night where they needed Yu Darvish to be vintage Yu Darvish. So Darvish was outstanding tonight. The bats were outstanding tonight, and all the way around. I mean, between the way they played, the way they responded, they dealt with what was obviously a hostile environment, a lot going on here tonight in L.A. You just have to be, I think, really happy with the way the Padres performed tonight in a lot of different ways. I really mean that. You got to be very happy with what they did, and now this series moves to San Diego for Game 3 on Tuesday. So before we preview Game 3 on Tuesday, a quick reminder that, of course, we are with you throughout the postseason here on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. We'll be back on the air at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Ben and Woods, I'm sure Ben Higgins, Stephen Woods, Paul Reindl, they will have plenty to say about what transpired in L.A. here tonight and what has gone on in the first 2 games of this series. So you want to be up bright and early tomorrow and ready to go 6 a.m. with Ben and Woods. And of course, if you missed any portion of our post-game show here on the Padres Radio Network, you can go back and listen to all of it on the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast with Sam Levitt, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcast. You can also go back on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel and watch any portion of our post-game show there as well. And if you missed any portion of our post-game show, there's a lot to go back and listen to, a lot to go back and watch between the radio highlights, Mike Shildt talking, reaction from Jurickson Profar, from Manny Machado, from Jackson Merrill, from Fernando Tatis Jr. We played a lot, and we got to a lot, so a lot to go back and watch or listen to in case you missed it. Taking a look ahead to Game 3 of this NLDS. That'll be on Tuesday at Petco Park. Again, the Padres and the Dodgers will have a workout at Petco Park tomorrow, so we'll have full coverage of that workout, both live here on the air and also on our social media channels. First pitch on Tuesday at Petco Park, Game 3 of the NLDS. It'll be at 6:08 p.m. Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show will begin at 5:08. Our starting pitching matchup in Game 3, right-hander Michael King on the mound for the Padres, right-hander Walker Buehler on the mound for the Dodgers. And again, first pitch at 6:08 p.m. on Tuesday in downtown San Diego. Looking at the final totals here in Game 2, I would say a memorable Game 2 here at Dodger Stadium. For the Padres, 10 runs, 13 hits, no errors. They left on 4. For the Dodgers, 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors. They left on 5. Winning pitcher tonight, Yu Darvish, who improves to 1-0. Losing pitcher, Jack Flaherty, who drops to 0-1. Time of game, 3 hours and 3 minutes. And the crowd here in L.A. at Dodger Stadium for Game 2, 54,119. Once again, first pitch on Tuesday at Petco Park for Game 3 at 6:08 p.m. Our pregame coverage begins at 5:08. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Frank Marchese, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long and good night from L.A. And a big thanks to Adam Klug, who did a great job here in L.A. tonight as well. Our final score: the Padres 10, the Dodgers 2. The National League Division Series is even at a game apiece. We will talk to you on Tuesday.